La la la.
Tea House only accepts guests of sufficient.
Well, now that we're here, Paimon doesn't see him anywhere.
Who forgot their promise? I was beginning to think you'd forgotten about me.
What?
Relax, no need to look so surprised. I take it huh. So you didn't see anything like this when you were in Liyue Harbor?
Now that you mention it, this does suddenly seem less out of the ordinary.
Alright, I've had my fun.
Hey, you're this close to...
Well, I've had some time to kill, given that I've been waiting here, so I came up with this little fun greeting for... But in all seriousness, I would like to apologize about that little test. It helped us determine whether or not to bring you before Miss Kamisato, and whether you had the courage to face...
Don't think that, Paimon.
Sorry, did I overdo it? Let me just say this. You've often found yourself skirting the rules from the very beginning. Naturally, this is due to your unwavering... A long time ago, we had a friend who was much the same. So his light still burns all the more brightly. Yes, of course. I will bring... But before that, there is one other place...
Oh?
I would like you to come with me to the statue of the omnipresent god. It's still under construction now, but you can...
The books were more interesting.
No, my sword!
This area sure feels gloomy. Huh? Are Paimon's eyes playing tricks?
Visions.
Visions? You mean all the visions that are collected from the Vision Hunt Decree are...
So you've already heard of the Vision Hunt Decree. Before I try to explain, I should perhaps remind you first that as for Inazuma, it's known as the Nation of Eternity. The Raiden Shogun is both the nation's most powerful ruler. The eternity in question is her endless and unchanging will to... As such, she relies on the Tri-Commission to regulate the nations of... The Shogun wishes to keep Inazuma in stasis, allowing the stream of time to flow from one end to the other without disturbing.
Seems like every god has their own...
Of course, this is my own limited understanding, as perhaps the Shogun believes that visions grant people the power to change, and that her eternity doesn't allow for such whatever the case. The fact is that the Raiden Shogun has dispatched the Tenryou Commission to scour the nation for visions, and this statue of the omnipresent god can be...
But if that's the case, wouldn't you say that the
Only outlanders such as yourselves would ever dare, and yet, I agree. The Vision Hunt Decree is something that simply should not exist.
Huh? Hey, are you okay? You look like your mind is...
Sound? What sound?
Yeah, You touch the statue, and then...
Aspirations? Have you heard it before? That when a person's ambition reaches a certain strength, that is where visions come from. In other words, so if what you just said is, then the ambitions of these people are stronger than I imagined. All right, time for the next stop on our tour of Narukami Island, the Kamisato residence.
So, this is the kind of place where the big shots of Inazuma live, huh?
Welcome at last to the Kamisato residence, honored guests. Miss Kamisato is delighted.
Is this the Shirazage Himegimi you keep going on about? Oh,
Yes. As the daughter of the Yashiro Commission, this is how Miss Kamisato is consider it a time-honored tradition within the Yashiro Commission. Forgive me if this is an unwelcome
makes sense.
Please forgive my lack of courtesy for receiving you in this fashion, especially following such a long and wearisome journey. I have awaited your arrival with great anticipation, and Toma assures me that you do indeed possess the power at present in Inazuma. In the name of the vision, though the Yashiro Commission serves the Shogun, it is the people with whom we share close bonds. Given the contact we are required to have with them in the performance of a commission's power rises and falls with the trust of their people. Thus, we cannot remain indifferent to this traveler. Lend us your power, and we can... Oh.
See, milady, it's just like I said.
No, please! Wait! Please, don't go! I will introduce you to the Raiden Shogun on one condition.
What are your wishes?
They pertain to 3 whose visions were taken from them. Perhaps once you've met them, you...
A warrior who guards a village, a former samurai who helped carry out the Vision Hunt decree, and a swordmaster
Correct. Please do all you can to help them.
I'm sure you'll do great.
Why are you doing this? Why leave all...
Precisely. It's much. The children are desperate for you to take them.
That must be the guy Ayaka took.
Ah, you must also be. Teijima has protected this, keeping out the treasure hoarders, fending off any monsters. But now, all of a sudden, we will gladly apologize.
If you want my opinion, it's clear that Teijima had done nothing wrong, and I can't claim to fully understand it. But I could tell that he, truth be told, we aren't sure whether trying to...
Seems like he's a well... You must be Teijima.
Me? It's not a question of why I want to leave. True. But that... And what made me want to come here 30 years ago? And why have I don't have answers to those questions, because I can't remember anymore. Ever in the past, I knew I wanted to stay here. But whatever resolve I had then...
Okay. Well, in that case... But if you can... Oh! Maybe if you just tried...
Oh, that reminds me.
I keep...
Oh, yes, you do. And what's more, I remember you saying...
Perfect! So if we want to keep Teijima Tejima from leaving...
If you don't mind, we will leave you to find...
This looks like Tejima. Let's see what we... Today, the villagers and I got together to cook dry braised salted fish. I met today, I helped rescue a kid who had fallen. I went kite flying today. The string broke, so Huh? I went to pray at the shrine again today and stayed there a while. Now that's the kind of info
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
So this is the Omamori Teiji. Interesting. But anyway, if he had this with him all the time, there... The soil looks like it's been disturbed. Maybe Tejima must be something pretty amazing if it... It looks like Konda Village. Sounds so familiar. Where is that place again? So but he's been here for 30 years. Well, let's go get...
Well, I'll be. That's certainly... Still, it's clear that I was... Over the years, I must have made a note of anything interesting. And just look at all the things. How could I have forgotten something so important to me? Love? Regrets? No. After all, I've forgotten who she was. It's as if she'd never been in my life to begin with. As if... I think... maybe not. Although, what if she were to turn up eventually? When I think about it like that, how curious. Why am I thinking like... I shall remain.
Tejima seems to be dealing... okay. But seems it's just like Ayaka and Tomo were saying. That certainly explains... At least we were able to... What? According to Miss Kamisato, the second one who lost their vision...
Go jumping in puddles and see who can make the biggest splash!
They say the Tenryou Commission is directly controlled by the Shogun. They're the ones responsible for maintaining law. But why would they take action? Paimon doesn't get it. Huh? There seems to be some commotion over there. Let's go see what's happening.
I'll ask one more time. Do you intend to withhold?
The entire clan is counting on that food. How many times do I have to say it?
You dare deceive us? Those provisions are essential. Do you understand?
You samurai think you can just do whatever you please? The Tenryou Commission will hear of this.
Oh, huh? And who are you?
What? We heard the commotion and came...
I see. You seem to have come just at the right time. This is Kurosawa. He's a samurai and a member of the Shogun's army. They issue emergency provisions to the area, and he's the... In the past, we'd simply ask him for provisions and everything would be delivered. Now, he's keeping the provisions for himself. I just know it.
No one seems to care about us. We used to think Kurosawa was a kind man, but he's shown his true color. It's no wonder all the visions have been confiscated. The Raiden show...
This must be one of the people Ayaka asked us to help. But maybe we should talk to Kur...
I've never
never even heard of these. I don't know whether it's rumors or whether they're trying to blackmail me. But my own family can barely get by as it is. No, that's the first bit of truth I've heard all day. The Shogun's army told me that I was unworthy of my vision.
Well, that's strange. You were helping enforce the vision.
To be perfectly honest, all I know is that I will perform certain things every month, and it's not just that.
Does it have to do with the missing emergency?
I didn't take any. Like I said, if I was taking them for myself, I wouldn't be. To top it all off, my house was just raided by. If you don't believe me, go.
But we better we should be able.
We really outdid all those samurai houses packed with goods. We really hit the jack.
You haven't seen anything yet. There'll be a lot. Today's just the beginning. I'll be leading you all on an epic journey of pillage and you demand.
These seem like the treasure hoarders we're after.
Here we go. Would gliding be faster?
I got careless.
Jumpy Dumpty, go!
Oh, there goes all the Mora. Come on, boss.
Not bad, kid. You ever Kurosawa? So he's the one who sent you after us, huh? Just stop.
So what did you see inside?
Food supplies. You kidding? That place was a complete mess. I didn't want anyone else to see it, so I was planning on opening. But now that you've caught us, how about we make a deal?
You've got a deal. Now.
Huh?
What the?
There's nothing in here but IOUs!
Yeah. And they all seem to be made out to the owner of a general goods. We better talk to this miss-off. As for you guys, you're free to go.
Yeah, so we redeemed ourselves for some IOUs. Does that mean—
Shut it.
Welcome to Tsukumomono Groceries. We've got, or perhaps, there. Ah, so you're friends of Kurosawa, I take it?
Whoa, let's not get ahead. How did Kurosawa end up owing you so much money? Did he buy anything
Let me think. Kurosawa would come regularly to purchase large quantities of foodstuffs. He'd always put However, the price of provisions began to skyrocket recently, and his salary was no longer enough to cover the cost. So, he started writing out IOUs to cover whatever he couldn't afford.
So that's how he was getting those. But why did he have to purchase a usual amount? If the prices increased.
Well, if you think about it, the citizens receiving the emergency provisions must have been carefully calculating how much they needed. Kurosawa thought that it would be quite the disappointment for them if they found they didn't have enough. So he deemed it necessary to take on the debt rather than let the people.
Wow. And no one ever appreciated what he did. They just complain.
People's attitudes will always reflect their circumstances. In the face of hardship, if you ask me, had Kurosawa told everyone the truth about the supplies, of course, I'm sure there would still have been some unrest. What he was doing was As for why he chose to spend his own money on emergency provisions, and if you're still curious, why don't you— I see. Most unfortunate. If he doesn't clear the debt on his name, he'll have no choice but to sell that sword that is so—
Sword?
Oh, didn't he tell you? I've asked him about its origins. He told me that it was in hindsight, I regret that I never made an offer on it. Why don't you ask him about the sword yourself? Perhaps it'll even— Oh, but before you go—
But you—
Information is— Don't worry. I won't charge much for—
At least we now know where the emergency provision— Let's go talk to Woo! What are
I presented them with a choice. Either they left or it turned out to be a real time saver action. Did you manage to track down the treasure hoard?
That just about sums it up. It turns out that you really—
Strange. I don't really have any such recollection. Why was I purchasing emergency provisions for everyone? And why would I— But I could not deny that when I brandished my sword to scare those two away, I could sense in my body this sword was one I remember once when I was young. I wanted to sneak out with the blade and show it. What did he say? It would seem that I forgot many important things. All I can remember now is my father telling me that this blade bore his life's creed. And said to me,
Hey! If you look carefully, there seems— Can you recognize the words?
virtue? Somehow those two words seemed taking on seemingly endless debts to make others happy. But what use are virtue and justice? I purchased— The Tenryo Commission seized my vision. And the very people And the irony of all of it is, I'm incapable of being a good person. Yet I'm equally unable to be bad.
Yet another trouble. When we get the chance, let's speak to Toma about Kurosawa's debt. In any case, we must never let him sell off that Yeah. Seems fortunately for us, you don't have— Let's go find the next— La la la.
Let's play!
The third person who had their vision taken? Paimon heard that he's the present-day This is his dojo.
Nanako, don't worry. Those thugs that challenged the dojo were strong.
Maybe, but things have gotten dangerous before in the past, but it's never shaken.
It's just because he's been possessed, that's all. What?
Hey there!
Who are you? I don't care whether you're trespassers or just here to harass us while— Don't make me draw my blade.
No! You got it so wrong. We just came here to—
Disciples?
Yep. We've heard all about the mighty— But then we got here and overheard you talk—
From the way you're dressed, please accept my apologies. We've had You haven't arrived at the best of times, I'm afraid. Sensei got possessed recently, and he's still— I see you are earnest in your pursuit. Okay, Sensei's name is Domon. And though self-taught, he mastered the art of the sword to a high level. He once said that his goal was to become the best. And so, even while training us, he continued to hone his own art. But then—
Not long ago, Sensei had his vision taken away. He says the strangest things over and over. Junya and I have discussed it, and we both think that he's been possessed by an evil spirit. But if I'm honest, I still have—
The Grand Narukami?
You haven't heard of it? It's the largest shrine on Narukami Island. The head shrine— Not that we'd have any means of involving the head shrine maiden, of course. But even one of the— So don't worry, Nanako. Sensei is going to be just fine. The exorcism will take place this evening.
So, losing your vision can—
Shh. So you decided to come. It's a good thing just now. when Nanako was attending to him. When she asked him who the people were, he suddenly looked panicked. It looked like he was in great distress. He was covering his ears and looking. All the while he kept calling those names. Some of them we knew. Others we didn't recognize. One of them was Anzai. He used to be a fellow disciple of Sensei's. His senior Sensei wouldn't stop calling his name. The ritual has now begun. All we can do is patiently Please, excuse me for a moment while I fetch some water.
Huh? Who's that sneaking around? We won't let them get away with it!
Wouldn't gliding be faster?
Seems they aren't here. Should we keep going further up? Is this definitely the right place? Let's look a little further up. Aha! Suspicious person sighted!
How? Are you sure you're Domon's disciples? Unless... I guess...
Excuse me! And what are you doing
Bad news? I'll have you know I trained side by side with Domon back in the day. I don't care to talk about that time anymore. But if you...
His senior?
Anzai? Yes, because I don't wish to see Domon or anyone else's... When we were young, we trained under the same sword master, studying Make-Yoshi Sui art together. I had begun training 5 years before him, and everyone looked up to me as a steady and practitioners of Make-Yoshi Sui art seek to achieve stillness of mind, freedom from all agitation. So the majority of disciples are indifferent to... But Domon was different. The first thing he did when he joined was go straight to our sensei and ask him, with a beaming smile. Sensei scolded him and told him that the art of the sword should not be used for... I thought so too at the time, but Domon began making... Only then did I realize that it was Domon who had long since freed his... He was consumed by his singular desire to become the best in the world. He sought...
Sure sounds like he meant business.
Because until he arrived, I was convinced that of all the disciples, I was the most gifted. Domon's arrival changed everything. When we sparred, I lost not just the match. Later, I heard that he sparred with Sensei too. Sensei was advanced. After that, I wanted nothing further to do with him. Deep down, though, I still... So, when I heard rumors that he had lost his mind, my first reaction was to dismiss. I decided to quietly come and see if it were true. Then, to my complete astonishment, so you see, I came here... Okay, you've heard my story.
Seems like we got it wrong this time. Still, Paimon's not sure...
Time to act.
Body and mind.